What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning into yet another episode of the Sports Muse podcast. I am your host, Kevin Brumley, and I am joined by a Saints correspondent. Not really, it's just John. John, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. I wish I could be a Saints correspondent. That'd be a nice job.
That'd be a pretty dope job. But no, we're here to talk about some NFC South, man. And we're starting off with the Saints. I kind of think they have to be the default leader of the clubhouse. We've seen them do it for quite a few years in a row. Saints Nation, New Orleans, drop your season predictions in the comments, man. I'm kind of curious to see how the Saints feel. Are they a little worried about Drew Brees getting up there in age, arm strength starting to deteriorate? So I'm pretty curious how the Saints fans feel. So I'm curious what your predictions are. So when I look at the Saints, their additions and re-signings, we have Anthony Chickillo, Taysom Hill, which signed a pretty big contract for probably third-string quarterback. Malcolm Jenkins, Ty Montgomery, Andrews Pete, Emmanuel Sanders, DJ Swearinger, PJ Williams, Jameis Winston, and their fearless leader, Drew Brees. As far as additions and re-signings, how do you feel about it?
I really like the Emmanuel Sanders signing, but it's crazy to me that all three of their quarterbacks got contracts this year. It just seems kind of bizarre. But yeah, I mean, the Emmanuel Sanders, I like him a lot, so I definitely think he helps their offense. And I actually don't know about DJ. I like DJ Swearinger personally, but I don't know actually how much like he helps that much. I honestly don't know that much about safeties. But yeah, I mean, they were obviously a top team last year, and I mean, Malcolm Jenkins I like a lot, so I like their additions. What about you?
No, and I agree with you. I think Malcolm Jenkins brings another leader to that locker room. Taysom Hill clearly just isn't a quarterback. He plays everything.
Yeah, that's what
That's a fun piece. I'm kind of curious with with that big contract, they must have a bigger role envisioned, right? And I'm kind of curious to see what that looks like.
You would imagine that they must have something planned. I mean, it's not like Sean Payton's a dumb coach. Like, he kind of knows what he's doing.
Sure, and I'm with you on that. And when we talk about departures, not really a ton of guys left. You have Teddy Bridgewater, Ted Ginn, Larry Warford, AJ Klein, Eli Apple, and Von Bell. As far as I'm looking at it, Teddy Bridgewater was great, when he replaced Drew Brees last year. But you still have Taysom, you got Jameis, you live with that. Ted Ginn I think Emmanuel Sanders is definitely an upgrade over Ted Ginn. AJ Klein, Eli Apple, and Von Bell might hurt a little bit as far as defense, but I think they have some guys to take those spots. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, and I agree with you 100% on the Ted Ginn is definitely Emmanuel Sanders is an upgrade. And yeah, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, yeah, he went 5-0 starting in place of Drew Brees last year, but they didn't really ask him to do much. So I think with Jameis that they would probably ask him to do more just based off of, I don't know, I mean, basically like just off his skill set, I guess. But who knows? I mean, that's if Drew Brees misses any games. Hopefully he doesn't.
Yeah, and I mean, long term, I'm kind of curious what Jameis Winston looks like next time we see him on the field. Like, Drew Brees is one of the best decision makers we've ever seen. So I'm kind of curious if that, because the Jameis Winston has all the tools. He just can't read a defense to save his life. So, I mean, that's for another time. Hopefully we don't see Jameis this year. I mean, nothing against Jameis, but if you're a Saints fan, hopefully Drew Brees is there for all 16. When we look at the 2020 NFL draft, they got Cesar Ruiz, Zach Bond, and Adam Trautman. I like it. You shore up that offensive line because, you do have, Kamara running the ball. You're protecting your old quarterback, and you have the best receiver in the NFL, arguably, with Michael Thomas. So you shore that up. You get another edge guy. But Bond isn't just a rush guy. He's kind of an all-around linebacker. He can drop back. He made some plays at Wisconsin and in the past game. So, and then you get a guy who, can help Jared Cook out as far as tight end with Trautman. So I like the draft. I think it was pretty solid. How about you?
Yeah, that's Trautman. The rookie tight ends were kind of a little rough this year, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, Trautman, I think him and Cole Kmet were maybe my top two favorites. So yeah, hopefully he can kind of replace what Jared Cook does. I mean, he's getting up there, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd say an above average offseason in general, just with additions and their draft picks.
Yeah, I mean they're already a stacked team, so it's not like they had to build from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
They're already at the tip top. Yeah, they got bounced first round last year, but I mean, if I'm a Saints fan, I'm pretty mad because that was a pretty blatant push off by Kyle Rudolph. I know I lost a large sum of money on that play, so I was not happy. When you look at the 2020 roster for the New Orleans Saints, it's a fantastic roster. It's hard to really see any weaknesses. I think the rich got even richer. I think they got more than they lost, and they were already a pretty great team. So as far as a roster is considered, I love the Saints. How about you?
Yeah, it's hard to see many downsides. I mean, they have a great quarterback. They have Kamara, Michael Thomas. They definitely have skills where they need it. And I mean, it's hard to see. Like we've said, they didn't really lose any big pieces. So you got to imagine that. I mean, the only thing that could really, I guess, get in their way is maybe just the addition of or just other teams being better in their division this year. That'd be like the only thing I could see.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah, sorry,
And
jumping ahead.
no, you're good. And the biggest question to me, if I'm the Saints, and really like the only question that I would kind of worry about if I was the Saints is, can Drew Brees play 16? And he's never had a strong arm, even when he was young coming out of college. He's never been known for his arm strength. As he gets older, it's looking a little bit weaker and weaker. And that's the biggest question, because he's he's the engine of the offense. He's the guy that makes you go. So the biggest question to me is, will Drew Brees have enough left in the tank for one more deep playoff run? And that's something where he's going to make the right decisions. You just worry about if he has the physical tools left in the tank. How about you? What's your biggest question?
For the Saints, yeah, I mean that definitely be up there. But I guess I wonder with Kamara. I mean, because I guess I just don't understand what happened with his knee, because they said it was like, what happened with his knee exactly? Because I know it was like something broke in his knee, which I really don't understand. So I guess it was, how injured was he last year, and was that? So I mean, I just don't know. Like, is he 100% healthy now? Who knows? So those two would kind of be my biggest questions.
Oh, and I get that completely.
I
And
mean,
what's that?
I was just gonna say, but then also we saw what Latavius Murray did when Kamara missed 2 games last year. So he seems like a very viable backup.
Yeah, and they got Ty Montgomery. And listen, I'm not a big Ty Montgomery fan, but I think he's like the broke version of Alvin Kamara. Which, if he would miss something, he could hold up a little bit in that passing game, as far as out of the backfield. So it's just another piece where they're not going to be clueless if Alvin Kamara misses a game or two. Now, when you look at the NFC South, the division did get better, I think. Of course, you have the Buccaneers, right? They get the greatest quarterback of all time. That offense was already ridiculously stacked. I think the Panthers are going to be interesting, because I know a lot of people are down on them this year. I don't think they're going to win the division, and I doubt they'll make the playoffs. But I don't think they're an easy out either. I'm kind of curious to see what Joe Brady does out there as the OC. And then you have the Falcons that are always live. I'm kind of down on the Falcons this year, but when you have Julio, Ridley, and Ryan, they can easily put up 40 points any game. So that's going to be interesting. I think you have to have the Saints at the top of the division until they're taken down. I know a lot of people are going to want to jump on the bandwagon of the Buccaneers, and I completely get it. But to me, you're top dog until someone proves you wrong. How are you feeling about how the Saints stack up in the South?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely top two. The Falcons, I'm a little bit. I guess I don't know. They interest me a lot, and I'm really excited to watch their offense this year. But yeah, I just think the Saints are just a better overall team, and with them and the Buccaneers, it'll be interesting. But I definitely agree with you that it's hard to just give the Buccaneers say that they're a top team whenever we haven't seen it from them, and then with Brady, we don't know what we'll see. So definitely, and I think that Carolina. I mean, who knows what's going to happen there? But for me, like, they're at the bottom. But yeah, Saints definitely in the top two, and I have them winning it. But so we'll see.
What is your prediction for this season for the Saints?
For the record,
Yes.
I had them at 11 wins.
11-5. I like that, and
Mhm.
that's about where I was. As far as prediction, I always put up two records that I'm kind of torn between, and it was 11-5 and 12-4. Um, I'm going 11-5 just because it's a weird year, you know what I mean, with COVID. Of course, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody's sure of, a week to week roster. So I just went 11-5 because I think the Saints are good enough to even go like a 13-3. But with being, I think they're going to be more content as long as they make the dance. They're live, man. We know Breeze always exceeds way more in the dome than he does, outside in the conditions. But I like the Saints, so that's why I'm saying 11-5. And for my parting shot, okay, this is just something I was kind of thinking about when we talk about COVID. I don't know if another team in the NFL actually kind of helps more with the whole COVID situation than the Saints. In a weird way, the Saints are bringing back the band, right? There's very little new additions. At least their core is the same, right? And it's not about the reps. The Saints don't really need it a ton. And they're a little bit of an older team at some of the key positions. So I think the shortened season or the shortened camp, or if, we only get 12 games in, 10 games in, I think it kind of helps the Saints out more than any other team when looking at it. Because like I said, they have a lot of consistency with that last year's roster and even the year before. Do you have any parting shots?
Yeah, so mine was kind of along the COVID lines too, and it was just that how they said that they were going to put themselves in like their own hotel and basically like quarantine themselves as a team. And I think anyone that goes to any kind of extreme measure like that, you're definitely putting yourself a step ahead of the rest of the league, just in the chance of less. If you have any less players missing a game or two here and there from being sick, that's obviously going to be beneficial to you as a team. So I definitely think them coming out wanting to do that will. I mean, unless all the teams do, I don't know. And who knows? Maybe it'll be gone by then. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm not a doctor, but it definitely
Yeah.
seems like a better idea to me.
Yeah, no, and it's preemptive. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
already taking the precautions, which is just smart, and it's on par with the Saints organization. They're a good organization, and that's why they've been consistently great over the past decade or so. Guys, we hope you liked the episode. If you liked it, click like and subscribe. We're getting there. We're at about 650 subscribers, so let's hopefully I can get to 1,000 here not too long. So make sure you drop a sub, and we will see you guys next time.